welcome. We are at WCW Hog Wild, excuse me, of August 1996. So the big difference with this show than real life is Hulk Hogan is not challenging for the world title. I wanted to kind of push that into the future a little bit and not rush to it. Not that it was wrong then, but I just think for me and my booking style, it take your time, take your time. But that starts us off with the show where we start with just a video package of like the NWO, the Giant, Hulk Hogan saying he was taken out of the title match, Randy Savage promo getting back in, Ric Flair saying the Four Horsemen are still the driving force of this company, kind of just like a summary of the major players. Okay, I don't know what that pop up was, nonetheless. But just an overall kind of like a video package. Um, WCW like did some of them, but not as many as WWF at the time. So I don't know. I definitely think that's always a great way to start the show. Now it does kind of like mess up the heat or not like the storyline ratings. So don't look for it too much. But I figure considering we're like first show, then second show is a pay-per-view. Let's get right to it. But that takes us to our first matchup where we have Rey Mysterio defeating Ultimate Dragon um, with his Springboard Hurricane Rana. Rey was really off his game, but had a 73 rating. Ultimate Dragon was 53. Now we are based in like a popularity over performance, so it just means Rey's a little more way more popular, but still pretty good rating. Uh, First matchup between the two. Ultimate Dragon's like the only cruiserweight heel we have right now, so I definitely want to kind of keep him around. I think him and Sonny Ono is like a character team. I'm not looking for anything crazy, but just like more or less a basic heel. Um, he beat up Jerry Lynn, Mr. JL. Rey Mysterio makes a save, kind of pushes us towards that of, well, Rey and Jerry Lynn are like buddies now, and then Ultimate Dragon is still a bad guy. That takes us to our next matchup with, I guess, Dean Malenko does count as a cruiserweight. He is also a heel. He defeated Billy Kidman, who is a cruiserweight. Billy Kidman's gonna kind of be like a job guy for us for a while, and then we'll see how we can develop a character for him. With the Cloverleaf, they don't have good chemistry. Okay, so now might not be the last time they face up, but will be. I try to avoid these because the ratings are not as good as they can be. But just get Dean a win. I'm not really sure best way to use him going forward for now, but we'll see. That takes us into our first I guess big match of the show. Not that Rey Mysterio and Ultimate Dragon wasn't, but we have Harlem Heat defeat the Steiner brothers, defending their tag team titles. You can see the Steiners definitely outperformed Harlem Heat. I look forward to seeing if Scott Steiner and Booker T develop as single acts. They're both in their early mid 30s, versus older brothers Rick and Stevie are mid to late. So I look forward to seeing how we can develop Scott and Booker as like a rivalry from like the tag team to the singles to the main event to the kind of like that. Yeah, just kind of basic match. I think they won clean. Yeah, they won clean. So kind of Steiner Brothers. There's no egg on their face losing to Harlem Heat. We go to a like a little just character segment with the Booty Man and Kimberly Page, who's his manager. Are just doing the proper, just doing lunges and kind of like showing off doing lunges. The Booty Man doing lunges. I mean, come on, guys. Um, just a dumb way to keep him on the show. Little character segment. Um, on this show, in real life, the Booty Man comes out with NWO shit. Hulk Hogan beats the shit out of him. I think we'll get there, but not yet. We then go to another little character segment. We're gonna have three of these back to back to back of Scott Norton cheating versus bikers and arm wrestling. Scott Norton's a world famous arm wrestler, so just kind of have him cheat versus like bikers is to kind of put him over as a heel. And then finally, last little character thing is Alex Wright just comes out to an interview with Gene Okerlund, and he just gets a diamond cutter. Like he's just doing his dancing bit, and then just kind of running from the back, DDP, diamond cutter, bang, and he's off into the night. That takes us into our well, not our next matchup, but before our next matchup of Ric Flair saying he's fought more Guerreros than there's motorcycles at Sturgis here tonight. I can see Flair say that line, just kind of going into how the Eddie Guerrero family, the Guerrero family, is such a big force in wrestling, and Rick's been around the block. Gets the four horsemen together, and that takes us into our matchup, where we have Ric Flair defeating Eddie Guerrero with the figure four leg lock, making defense number three of the United States title. Rick with a 94 rating, Eddie with a 73. Um, Overall, great match. Rick is about to turn babyface. You can kind of see with the way I have him just bury Eddie in the promo before. The match is clean. Um, it's to steal the show. I'll kind of get in like the match names when I was thinking here. I think the Ultimate Dragon and Rey Mysterio also steal the show because I think that's accurate for the time. But Ric Flair, at the time now, I think he's like only like a six or seven world champion. So I'll have to check that out one of these episodes. But I don't think he'll be a 16-time guy. And then following the match, uh, to get that got great heel heat. Okay, I thought it said Eddie Guerrero. I was very confused. Yeah, Rick is the heel here, but he shakes the hand with Eddie Guerrero, kind of like giving Eddie the stamp of approval. Eddie's not completely new to WCW, but he's not necessarily a been around. He's not the Eddie Guerrero at this point. That takes us into our next matchup. I definitely think I should have put like a promo here of Luger and Sting, kind of build that back up from the video angle. The Outsiders defeat Luger and Sting when Scott Hall pins Luger with the Razor's Edge. Um, so in real life, Scott Hall definitely had his demons. In the game, that doesn't affect you as much. So it's going to be interesting to see how great he performs overall. But in real life, they cheat to win. I'm pretty sure I had them win. So no cheating. Um, I think this is perfect for what they did in real life. It's kind of why we did it here. Overall, great match. I mean, 13 minutes, nothing too long, nothing too short. Lex definitely the weakest of the bunch, but not by far. And then Sting, look forward to seeing how we can develop into that character. Following that, we have the Dungeon of Doom, kind of just pointing out how they knew Hulk Hogan was no good and how he showed his true colors versus them last year. If you remember, he did the like all black thing, shaved his like beard and everything in '95 versus Dungeon of Doom. Doom. This takes us into our next matchup with Hulk Hogan defeating Jim Duggan by pinfall with a leg drop. The Hulkster, pretty much a squash match. We're still, I want to say this is his first match as a heel. I'll have to fact check that. But it's just a way to kind of show him for being a heel, first time showing that. And, we don't need to have him be world champion right away. That can be storyline beat. Because theoretically, and I know Eric Bischoff gets tied into it, right now, WCW is very anti NWO. The executives are. So why give him a title match even if the Giant accepted it? So that's gonna be like something of how Hulk can get a title match and how the Outsiders can get title matches as well. Following the match, we have NWO just beat down Jim Duggan, do the spray painting bit on his back, and just kind of again they're heel. Nothing too crazy here. I should have probably had Sting and Luger like make a save or come out get beaten down too, but they already lost once tonight. Don't need them continue to get beat down. I think following that we get right into our main event. Yeah, we do with Randy Savage defeating the Giant. We have just a classic David and Goliath story. Um, the Giant's been champion for a couple months at this point. We want to build to Hulk Hogan winning the title from a champion or challenging for it. Him, the Giant. In real life, the Giant loses the title, then turns around, joins the NWO. So imagine losing the title and then joining the guy's stable who you lose it to. It just doesn't really make sense. So to him lose it to Randy, we can then have like something happen with the Giant that makes sense where he can possibly join or maybe he turns face. We'll see. But they kind of like messed the Giant's character up from this point forward, and I want to fix that. Yep, but Randy wins, doing his thing. He didn't win by submission here, like he did in our first episode. And then in the main, and just the little last bit, he's celebrating. We could have the Outsiders and NWO just topping the ramp. It is funny both these guys end up in NW in real life, but for now, they're outside it. Maybe that changes, maybe it doesn't. Overall, pretty good show. I think could have been better. The Savage Giant pretty much capped out lower 80s. If, like I'm not gonna expect it to be like 90 plus. The Hogan and Duggan, same. Like Outsider and Sting, like the matches that were given time and given the ability to steal the show definitely did. So that's why we're gonna go Ric Flair. We're gonna go Scott Hall, and then probably Smash, probably Kevin. Um, so the making the speech is a pretty good way to keep people's morale and like keep loyalty to. So having like Nash and Hall like be happy would help things going forward over yeah, if I have a sense Scott Hall to rehab because I think he does have like the drug thing. Nonetheless. All right, let's see what storyline was. We got Goldust and Vader, Stone Cold Taker, Owen Triple H, HBK Sid. Okay, nothing too crazy there. Rey Mysterio's money. Robert gets in. So, um, if you notice, it is that show's on Saturday. So we won last week. Our pay-per-views are listed on Saturdays. Theirs are on Sunday. Nitro's on Monday. Raw's on Tuesday. I think that's to avoid like the game mechanics. Maybe we both get to like big size because we're both medium. Um, I'll change it to reflect it. We should be big size by end of September end game. So in the next like 10 shows, we'll definitely be big. Um, but just to do that, and then well, let's see Ric Flair just because we talked about it. So that's cruiserweight division. If you see six, still got a debut. Um, and I don't know. I haven't really decided how to do guys like him and Big Show, or sorry, the Giant, and how they go to WWF if they do. So let's see, five, seven-time world champion. That's kind of crazy to think about. He's won 9 world titles pretty much in the last like 5 years of WCW. Um, but definitely very decorated as a champion. You can see he's ready to turn. Um, yeah. So look forward to seeing that. But let's see here. Creative, obviously those guys. Kenny Chaos is our next big thing. We got to see what he did in real life one of these times just to see. Um, hot prospect wise, obviously people there. Talk to talk showstoppers, ring generals are the guys you expect. You expect that. You expect that. All right. But yeah, that's gonna be the show. Our first pay-per-view down in the books. So far, so good. We then have to push forward to Fall Brawl, where we will have a War Games match, Halloween Havoc. I did eliminate World War III. I'm going to. I think it's cheap to do a Royal, not a Royal Rumble, a Battle Royal before your big show, with title implications. It's copying the WWF, which we want to be different. I do like that Starrcade, our big show, is December, but Halloween Havoc, Eric Bischoff even has been like quoted as saying that Halloween Havoc might have been like the WCW show. So I definitely want those two shows that stand out from the rest. I definitely think Bash at the Beach or the Great American Bash as well, considering Bash at the Beach. It's where Hogan turned. So I want that one to stand out too. Um, and then I think the more we go into it, the less pay-per-views there will be. I like the AEW structure of pay-per-views, like 4 or 5 a year over 12. So maybe we can add some clashes back in. I think that would be pretty cool. Um, Nonetheless, we're gonna leave it there. I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you for watching.